ready, because PKAW Entertainment brings KAW Reunion Tour to Jackson, Tennessee, October the 26th, 2023 at the Slide and Ride Rodeo Arena. Big stars set to appear. KAW Originals, I wouldn't tell you no lies. PKF&W is on the way. We've got tickets, we've got babes, we've got beer, we've got blunts, and we've got blood. Check out our sponsors. The Convicts will be appearing. Oh yeah, that's right. Danny B. Good and his son, DJ Brown. The fabulous Chris Rocker coming to KAW at the Slide and Ride Rodeo Arena, October the 26th, 2023. We're kicking ass and chewing bubblegum, and we're all out of bubblegum.
All right, guys, you see it right there. The big KAW reunion tour coming up, and guess what? Buster Unmasked, breaking the silence right here, right now. I got the guys who made all that shit happen. And we're not going to waste any time. We're going to start right off the bat. Right now, I'm going to bring the Pro Wrestling's original DJ. Look, this guy here is the voice of KAW, the voice of MCW, and without a doubt, one of the hardest working guys in the business. He had all kind of behind-the-scenes jobs, and we're going to find out what he did for all this wrestling. None other than DJ David Jett.
Holy crap, did I have to, that was the longest introduction ever. I had to sit through 20 minutes of Slide and Ride. How you doing,
Dude,
Buster?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, I had to put them over, had to put you over, man. What have you been up to, Jett?
Oh, not much, man. So this is Buster Unmasked podcast.
Buster Unmasked.
Little piece of advice for you. Put the mask back on.
Man, everybody tells me that. The mask is falling apart, dude. There ain't no way I can put it back on. Every time I try to put it on, a new hole rips in it, man. I got holes where I shouldn't have holes, man. Well, look,
can you
Jett,
say that on a podcast? Is that?
Dude, I just did. I hope so, man.
Okay.
If
enough about your personal life, buddy.
Hey, if we suddenly go black, then you know we can't say that shit, Jett.
All right.
Look, man. We got the man himself. Man, you look great, dude. Like I told you a few minutes ago, you look great. I love the gray. You don't look like you've aged a bit, dude.
Oh, only, 20 years.
I can see you're still sarcastic as hell, like always. Wouldn't be David Jett unless, huh?
Nope, would not be.
Well, look, man, I got an idea. We got the man himself down here. And for old time's sake, man, you probably introduced this guy more than anybody else in the world. What do you think about giving our main guest, the man himself, the big boss man, Terry Golden, an old school KAW introduction, David?
Absolutely, because we have the man who was the heart and soul of KAW, and Terry's here too. So we might as well get him out here. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know how I introduced him. I don't remember where he was from, what I said about him. But how about just a regular introduction? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the owner, founder, brainchild behind KAW and the stiffest wrestler outside of Nia Jax. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Golden.
What's up, guys? Jett, how you doing, pal?
What's all that shit in the background? You run some kind of supplement business? What's happening there?
That's my life.
Okay.
Terry!
Some of us have real jobs now, Jett. I mean, you still look like you're doing the deal.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I believe he is. Look at him. He got the TV in the background, the KAW playing. You can't tell.
Look, I'm going to say that Jett's probably been doing promos in the mirror for this. Like, looks down. I mean, that's a lot of work that he put into doing this stuff. This is not just natural. This is Jett being David Jett. I mean, there's not an in-between. I mean, it's all Jett all day, 24/7. It's the real deal right there.
Yeah, you should talk to the people I work with now. I'm not even fucking on TV, and I'm cutting promos on everybody.
Lord Jesus, man. You can't get it out of your system, man. It's just the way it is. It stays in there, dude. It's like a drug. It stays in your system. Well, look, man, I appreciate both of you guys so much for doing this for me. And look, I got a two-part question before we even get into the interview. This thing's called Breaking the Silence. You guys have pretty well been silent for the past 20 years. Why now? Why now did y'all decide to speak out?
I think you fucking asked us to. I think it's about the size of that. There's
Yeah,
no
but
grand
hey,
reason.
From what I understand, hundreds of people have asked y'all to do this over the years, and this is the first time y'all have done it. Why? Why now? Why me? Why Buster Unmasked?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I will bet you that I have been asked to do no less than 100 shoot interviews, podcast interviews, whatever the bullshit is, especially coming out the gate. Whenever we finally wrapped up and did what we did and kind of when I walked away from the business too, for better words, I bet I was asked on a weekly basis to do some kind of shoot interview. And then, as things happen moving forward and different people, things happen, you get asked if you want to, you want to do this, or you want to do that. It's just never been anything I wanted to do, which, I think that I'm not going to speak for Jett, but I will speak that I think that he kind of feels somewhat the same. Our ending was a little bit bitter and sour and just kind of like ugly, and and unfortunately that is this business. It is ugly. It is, but when you see young kids just get their lives ripped out from under them, it's just, you either want to stay involved or you don't. Me, myself, I had a very young child at the time. I wanted to be in his life. I've had another young young child come into my life. I got 2 boys now. Now my oldest is 23 and my youngest is 18, and that is my world, man. I mean, that's all I care about. The best thing I ever did was walk away and be a dad. That's the best thing I ever did. So that's my claim to fame. I don't care about the wrestling business. I'll be honest, I'll probably forget more about what happened. Y'all will be reminding me of stuff. The best thing ever happened to me was my boys. So that's my life. So
good Lord, that answer lasted longer than Terry's first marriage.
You're exactly right. Exactly right.
Damn! I didn't know we was gonna start pulling the knives out already, y'all.
Damn.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm about to bury everybody.
I didn't know he's gonna bury me.
He said everybody. He gonna bury everybody. Look,
we're turning on ourselves.
Hey, I done dug the graves. I'm just gonna start tossing out names and letting y'all knock them in, man.
Go.
Put dirt on them. Look, guys, I think to get to where we want to end up, we got to know where this started. So this is for both of y'all. If y'all can give us a quick idea of how both of y'all got in the wrestling business.
Go, Jett.
Actually, I did some video stuff with a guy who worked with in like a real job with Sergeant O'Reilly. Remember him?
Yes.
How do you forget him?
Yeah.
Really?
One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best.
So
he's still active as hell around here.
Yeah. Well, so this guy this buddy of mine did video stuff, and he said, "Hey, I'm videotaping some stuff for this little wrestling group. I think it was called Central All-Star Wrestling, coming soon to a National Guard armory near you." And he said, "Hey, they're looking for an announcer. You want to come do some announcing?" So I did announcing stuff for them for a while. And then I started, I don't know how many people remember this, the Wrestling Report show on cable, where it started out me talking about wrestling news. And this was kind of before the internet. So the news didn't get around as much. So I did that for a while. And then that show it went from like 25 minutes of news and 5 minutes of me bullshitting around to like 25 minutes of me bullshitting around and 5 minutes of news. And then I think after that, I worked for the USWA doing some announcing down at the Coliseum after Lance left. And I think I didn't do anything for a while until it's probably David Denton, David Webb, whichever you want to call it, dragged me into the KAW situation. I think the first time I saw Terry was at a David Milligan show in Dyersburg, and Terry obviously had watched ECW because all he wanted to do was just stiff people with every object in the area.
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Oh,
Myself, man, obviously like most guys, man, it was just my lifetime dream to do. And then I moved to Memphis. Geez, I don't even know the year, but ended up being good friends with Spike Huber, Dick the Bruiser's son-in-law. Spike got me into business, and that's just, man, we rode from there. We were all over Illinois and everywhere. And then I got into, didn't really do anything in Memphis and was living there, and then kind of got into Memphis a little bit and did a little here, a little there, and ended up doing the KAW deal and the MCW deal with WWE, and shit. From there, it was a wrap. So we just rode on home. Trying to shorten my answer some, Jett.
Yeah, it's a rousing story.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was spellbound every second.
Well, look, guys, Terry, this one's mainly for you because I know you are the founder, the owner. You're the guy who started Kick-Ass Wrestling. Why don't you kind of take us through and tell us how that came about? Take us a little bit before. Let me ask you something. Now, originally, was it the AWA?
Well, here's the deal. And I'll try to give you the quick version on this also. Yeah, it kind of was. Like, this whole deal started off of like doing a show. We were just going to do a show. And ultimately, I don't even know that I'm the founder. I'm going to give credit where credit's really due. If you remember our first ring announcer, Ron Guidry is his name, the Penguin.
Here he is, right
here. He
came
to me and said, man, let's do a show. Let's do a live show. Let's do, we put all these crazy ass ideas. What can we do to make it exciting? We're talking like things are boring during matches. He's like, well, shit, let's play music. All this first show, everything was built like our first show was like the first WrestleMania. It was either feast or famine. If 4 people showed up, this shit would have never happened.
There you go.
But unfortunately, we sold the daisy out. Like smack ass sold it out. First show out the gate. And then AWA was just, it didn't really fit what we were doing. So we just played with it. I mean, then we went KAWA and then we converted it down to KAW. But I'm going to give all the credit to my boy, Ron Guidry, the Penguin, for coming with me and him, putting this thing together to get it really going. Also, I had a buddy, Darren Downing, who financially helped us do this deal. I think he still does some stuff with wrestling in the Memphis area. He owns Pro Shingles now. Everybody needs a roof called Darren Downing.
Wait, you said he's got shingles?
Yeah, he's got the shingles. I think he's trying to get rid of them.
Sorry, I couldn't.
And he'll sell them to you for a lot of money.
He's selling them too.
Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's how it happened. It was a one-show gig, and it went over so well. It just kept going. I mean, we got on cable access. And you're right, Jett. We were getting David Denton, to help us do announcing. And it was, and David he just couldn't keep up because he didn't, and I don't think he really wanted to. He introduced us together, and man, it was there from there on. Jett and I spent many, many hours together for very little reward. But outside of Ron helping me get this thing going and coming up with the brainchild of the idea, I'm gonna tell you, Ron and Jett are the two guys that, David Jett, I'm not saying it because he's on here, but he worked his ass off day and night, produced the television, did the editing, he did it all. Also, I see my boy Darby's on here, the ref. Mike did a lot of work for us. Those few
none
guys,
of it any good, but
it's
worked.
It was a brainchild, and it was a lot of work behind the scenes. But I couldn't have done anything. So I'm probably the least to credit on any of that. Those guys are the ones who really made this thing. They were the glue to keep it together. So I just got some of the credit and then took all the heat. So
let me ask you this: where did who coined the name Kick-Ass Wrestling? Who decided that was it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've got no clue.
Yeah, I don't even know. Who knows? I think it just came. I think it just came up. It's just one of them deals where we were probably just sitting around brainstorming. We wanted something edgy. At the time you had, was it USWA or was it Power Pro at the time?
No, USWA went out in '97. I think it was Power
whatever
Pro.
It was over there, and it was just kind of blah. No, I'm not knocking their product by any means. They were working hard too. So, but we just wanted to be a little edgy, but a little bit more exciting, have a little bit more, not just boring, and And I'll be honest with you, the ECW thing really wasn't even a factor in the KAW style because we got to remember this is almost pre-internet. So
yeah, definitely.
The only ECW I saw was after the fact, and we would get tapes from some of the guys that had been down and worked. So I think it was just good timing at the time, and I mean I think everything clicked. Because I'm going to tell you, still to this day, I had people ask me about KAW, and it's the weirdest thing for I would say the blip that we were on, even though it was for a minute. It's been 20 plus years. I mean, I still to this day, and I don't really communicate in the wrestling world, but anytime I do, I still get asked about KAW.
Yeah, man, I didn't realize how fondly it was remembered until I started putting old KAW matches on and stuff, and then seeing the feedback. Dude, man, like the name and everything, right time, right name, right people, and just right timing too. Because I'm like you, we had the wrestling we'd all grown up on around here was always kind of the same, and this was something that was kind of totally different for this area. Yeah. I mean, KAW to me was special because at that time, wrestling needed something different, especially around this area. We needed something different badly, and I just think it was perfect timing, man. It was like the perfect storm, Well,
I don't know how we got away with some of the crap we did.
I don't either.
If you put some of that stuff on television now, we'd all be in jail.
No, I had the audio up on some of these shows I was watching the other day. Somebody put up on YouTube, and I heard a few questionable things.
Not just heard. I mean, some of the interviews and I will never forget, Jett. We did the editing at my house, and I came in one night and just like, check this interview we did. And he had Rocker in my guest bedroom. And I'm not even going to mention the girl's name that was in it because she probably sued Rocker and me. But I mean, I don't know how we got away with that. I don't know how it ever got on TV. I'll tell you I promise you.
Wait. I barely remember.
Watching our show.
I barely remember this. Who's the girl?
I ain't going there.
Was it KAW or was it after KAW? Was it MCW?
It was all KAW. No, this was KAW. This was right in the heart of it. And it was a pretty explicit interview. I don't know how. Like I said, nobody
Vixen?
At W30 was watching our show. Nobody.
Was it Vixen? Was that who it was?
I'm not even going to comment.
I'm going to keep guessing. Anita Little.
You've already guessed.
Can you see my head moving, Jett?
Yeah.
I ain't bobbing it for a reason, man. Hey, I remember seeing that interview when it aired, dude. And at the time, we didn't think nothing about it because that's what was going on in society. That's the way everybody felt. That's the way everybody was living.
Right.
And it was perfect, but it was edgy. I don't see how it made TV either, really.
I never saw this myself. I never witnessed this. Speaking of Rocker and Vixen. But I was told by several people that Chris Rocker had the biggest cock in professional wrestling.
Damn.
Like Soul Train Jones shit. Lanny Poffo shit.
So look, we got to get Rocker on here and just get him to show the whole world so we know whether
show
it's true
or
whether it's not.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I'm gonna take the under.
Yeah. Look, Terry, we'll give
so did a lot of women.
Measuring tape, man. He can do the measuring for us, man.
There you go.
Look, David. Terry mentioned it, man. People on the outside only really know you as the voice of KAW and Memphis Champion Wrestling, but what they don't know is you was probably, like Terry said, probably the hardest working guy there because all the wrestlers, when we were through, we got to go home and do whatever. And you had to go home and then work on the TV, edit, all this other stuff. Kind of give us an idea of how your night would go after TV tapings and stuff.
Well, I only really, for a while there, I wasn't doing the TV. There was another dude when I first came in that was handling the TV stuff, so I wasn't doing that. All I was doing when I first started with KW was going down and doing commentary and drinking all night long at Mardi Gras when we taped. I had a waitress when we taped. I had a waitress as a shoot a shoot waitress would come by my table, and I would tell her, I'd like, don't worry if I'm announcing or if the camera's right there, just bring me a drink. And that went on all night long. But then later I did production. But yeah, it's like the night of the taping, I really didn't have to do anything. But then later on during the week, it was like, you know, every other night, sometimes every night, sometimes. Yeah, it just depended. I'd work on editing the show, putting stuff together. It took up a lot of time.
It was legit 6 nights a week. Either we were at a show or he was working on the show.
Probably.
I don't care what he says, but I mean, a night off to him is being at the show. But I mean, that's still working the show. So I mean, you know, there for a while we were working 3-4 nights a week.
Yeah,
which is almost unheard of now. Nobody even works. They don't work 3 or 4 times a month. But I mean, if you're working 4 nights a week on doing shows, I'll promise you, he was in the studio working. Hell, probably on more like 7 nights a week. I mean, he put in a lot of time.
Free alcohol, or at least an endless supply of flowing alcohol. And I mean, it's KAW. I mean, everybody doing something. Most people, whether you was drinking or whether you was a stoner or whatever, everybody was kind of doing their thing. But truthfully, man, right before the switch over, the last, like from 99 to 2000, man, KAW had in my opinion, one of the very best crews, probably the best crew around this whole area. Period. I would have put our crew up against Lawler and them's crew at that time, anytime. What y'all's thought about that?
I mean, I absolutely, because if you remember correctly, all their guys wanted to come to work for us. You know, we had the majority. We had Bill, we had Jamie, unfortunately, Wolfie. God, I mean, who didn't come to work? Who didn't work there? You know, all those guys that were guys at 5 or whatever you call it. I mean, all of them were coming there. So I mean, but I mean, at the end of the day, we still had our group, our core group of guys. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I agree with you 100%. You know, you can't replace guys like Motley. Man, I owe the world to Motley. Motley worked his ass off nightly, daily. I mean, yourself, Ron, Danny B. I mean, and you think about all the young kids that got their start on the first time they stepped on television was on KAW. And it's look at the littles. How much mileage has Biddy got out of the littles?
Yes,
that was my idea, Jett. I don't care what you say.
Oh, I know that was your idea. I absolutely know that. Everything
was completely my idea, just because I was entertained by 2 movies in my lifetime, I think. One was Deliverance. The other was
that explains a lot.
Most of the music from Pulp Fiction on all of our shows. So I mean, that's about my only input. Where Biddy and Itty, and then Weed. What a great concept Weed was. Those guys, Izzy and Bud.
So for the people
Need a Little. I mean, that was just
for the people that don't know, Weed was a group. That was the team name. And there was Izzy High, who I saw in a match against the Iron Sheik somehow on the internet. I'm not sure where, when, or why that happened, but there's an Izzy High versus Iron Sheik match on YouTube. Anyway, it was Izzy High, Dr. Bud Ganja, and who was the gal with them? Did they have a gal?
Yeah, I think so.
Shroom.
Okay. And then the Littles was Biddy Little, Itty Little, and Anita Little.
Yeah.
Subtle. It's very subtle.
Yeah, I still remember those short ass blue jean Daisy Duke shorts she wore, man.
Oh, and you know what? How has nobody mentioned our favorite referee, Alki?
Lord Jesus. Yes, man.
I mean, that's a genius right there. I don't know how we come up with such great stories there, Jett.
Yeah, I was at the last time I saw Alki, and it's been years. It was at a Miranda Lambert show at the Grove thing, whatever they call it now, the outdoor thing in South Haven. And I ran into him, and they only sold beer in there at the time. And Alki goes, oh, I brought all these little shot bottles. He's just everywhere. He's just covered in every pocket, little airplane shot of whiskey. And I said, oh, dude, can I get one of those for you? And he's like, oh, no, man, I don't know if I can spare it. And I was like, how'd you like to get backstage and meet Miranda Lambert and get a photo taken? And he's like, yes. I said, give me 2 whiskeys.
Nah.
Because I could get them back. And there's a picture out there somewhere of Alcoholic and Miranda Lambert.
Awesome. Hey, but you know what? I'm going to tell you one of my favorite gimmicks, and this was Jett's brainchild. And I'll tell you what,
I'm going to deny it unless it's good.
I thought about this guy a couple of times over the years, and I always wonder what happened, and I swear to God, this was not a setup. But I think he might even be on the podcast or in the comments. And I don't know if this is for sure him or not, but remember the gimmick we did with take notes?
No.
What? We had the guy walking around with a pencil to everybody, and he would go up to Gas or whoever, and he'd say, take some notes and throw a pencil at him. I want to say it was Stoney McGraw.
That's just vaguely.
Oh, my God.
Vaguely
that was my favorite all-time gimmick that you came up with.
I don't even remember coming up with that. I don't remember the gimmick. I hope it was good.
But I think it was Stoney McGraw.
Here he is right there.
I believe that's him. But anyway, that was one of my all-time favorite gimmicks because there were just so many different ways to go with that.
I don't remember if this came. I think this came in maybe at the tail end of KW. I can't remember if it transitioned into Memphis Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But one of my favorites was Chip Diver,
right,
and Muffy.
Yeah,
for some reason. That video we did at the frat house, we went to a frat house at the University of Memphis. Just say, hey, can we shoot this wrestling video here? And those fucking guys were all stoned and drunk and eating pizza. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, should we clean the place up? I'm like, fuck no, leave it all just like this. Yeah.
I actually hear from Chip Diver pretty regular. He messaged me. He just got back from Sweden. I think he's dusting with the military. And
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Right. They send him all over the place. But look, I'm glad you said frat house, and you mentioned the name a while ago. We're still in the kick-ass wrestling era. Jamie Dundee. Now, my opinion, we all love Jamie, and he's the absolute best front man you can have for the simple reason that you never know what he's going to do or say, but he's also the absolute worst front man you can have because you never know what the fuck he's going to do or say. So what y'all's thoughts about Jamie Dundee and KAW?
I'm going to do a real now. I'm going to do a real quick. I'm going to do a real quick one and then let Terry go.
I know. I already know it. I've heard Jett's 100 times.
All
I can almost tell you for him.
Jamie Dundee is very entertaining and he's just a big mess. That's kind of about as polite. It's a fucking train wreck, entertaining train wreck, but you don't want it to happen on your tracks. All right, this is about as polite as I can put it. Terry Golden, tell us about Jamie Dundee and how his face felt on your fist that one night.
We're gonna talk about that.
He was going to come on. Jett said he was coming on here and he wasn't holding back anything. He's been the kindest little pup I've ever seen. I love Jamie. I still talk to Jamie. A lot of people know this, but me and Bill, Jamie's dad, Bill, and I are very close. But man, he's a fuck up. He is a complete fucking shit show. I mean, he's like a dog with diarrhea most of the time. It's just, I love him. But I mean, it doesn't matter what you do at the peak when you need him the most. He's going to implode and blow the whole house up. And that's what we did. That's what we did. I mean, some things are controllable and some things aren't. And Jamie's just one of those that's not.
Jett mentioned the frat house and mentioned the little altercation. If I'm remembering right, we were in Martin, and we were having a show at a frat house actually. And of course, Jamie is as fucked up can be, like always. And I don't know if you sent him out or he just went out, but he went out to get some heat. And so he's out there and he's on the mic doing what Jamie does, saying whatever Jamie wants. And then all of a sudden we look around and every one of the frat members are have got him pinned in the ring, and we all had to go save his ass, man. What y'all's thought about that?
There's no thought. That's all on me.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely volunteer.
It's all on me.
Let me tell you how that went.
Let me tell you my great executive decisions here.
Yeah.
Jamie shows up to the show, fashionably 20 minutes late. We're trying to get things going and started, trying to put things together because sometimes they're last minute. You have to make changes, whatever.
Yeah, we were doing pre-tape. We were doing pre-tapes in the back.
Yeah, we're trying to get everything done
inside
for the show
the house,
and whatnot. And Jamie's already shit-faced drunk. And I had the bright idea. This was one of my better decisions. I said, "Hey, Jamie, go out there and get some heat. You'll buy us some time so we can finish up what we're doing."
Well, they got some heat.
Granted, as you boys know this was in the backyard of the KA frat house, which is the most predominant frat house in Martin for the boys. I have some of my son's best friends are in the KA house to this day.
They let them in. Yeah, okay.
So Jamie goes out and does exactly what I told him to do, but he also caused a damn riot. This was a paid show. They bought the show from us. We never got paid. It was a complete disaster. Yeah. I don't remember if he actually hit one of the guys. I know but it was a mess. I mean, was absolute. We never had the first match, did we?
He started talking in derogatory terms to one of the frat guys' girlfriend.
Yeah, that's how I remember it.
Using certain terminology that would not make it on TV.
And he was Jamie Dundee. He was uncensored, unfiltered. And I remember when I heard him say the first thing about the dude's girl, and I thought to myself, oh, shit, man, this could go bad. And then he kept on, and it wasn't but probably 2.5 minutes later, the whole fucking fraternity was dog piling his ass.
Yeah, they were going to kill him. If I hadn't went out there and beat the living shit out of him, they would have killed him. And that was a rough night for Jamie.
Yeah, that spilled all the way back into the dressing room too.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, Terry was kicking his ass all the way. The dressing room was the frat house. The show was out back. The frat house was the dressing room, and yeah, Terry and Jamie came flying through the door.
I don't know how nobody went to jail. First off, I don't know how Jamie didn't go to jail, but I mean, I don't know. None of us went. How somebody didn't end up going to jail, other than I think that the deal that kept anybody from going to jail, we just told them to keep the money. And we just wrote it off.
Yeah. We packed up and left.
A lot of the boys took a lot of shit to try to, get Jamie going, but
the only bright spot in the whole night was that we didn't have to watch Buster wrestle.
Hey, there you go. That's all. Hey, I'm still, if I wrestle right now and you're commentating or you're on TV, I'm just going to still do fucking roll until you put it on TV. To this day, Jett. So
hey, Buster, let me ask you a question, all right?
Go
I got one for you. Which gimmick did you like better? The Hellraiser? Or what was the 80s rock band we had him in?
The parody of the Mullets, the parody of the fabulous ones.
How about that?
Dude, and this answer is probably going to surprise you. Now, look, I am the Hellraiser. So to me, that really wasn't a gimmick. That was just me putting a mask on and being me. Just one part of my personality. But believe it or not, I growed up in the 80s, hair bands. I am that dude too. So when y'all first kind of hit us with the gimmick, me and Ron, it took us a second, to really wrap our heads around it. But once we did, and I started thinking about it, and we got to talking, I said, well, shit, both of us, I mean, that's both of our eras. We both growed up during that era. It's in me. I know it's in me. It was in him. I love the Mullets. I just hate that it didn't get to. I think there was so much more that could have been done with that.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
If we would have had more life, but that was my fault. I mean,
there was a lot of mileage to get out of that. I truly felt like that it was spot on for you guys, and y'all enjoyed it. I mean, because the Hellraiser deal, you're right, is you, and that was your deal, but I think you had more fun being the Mullets, and that's part of it. If you're not having fun, then why do it?
Well, what was Ron's? I've been trying to think of Ron's name all week.
Ronnie James.
Ronnie James.
Ronnie James. I always thought he was a hell of a wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Look, I put somebody over. Check that out.
Ron's highly underrated. He's probably one of the very best technical wrestlers and workers around here. That dude don't get the credit he deserves, man. And that's the thing about me and Ron. When me and Motley tagged up, we kind of have the same personality with me as the Hellraiser and Motley. Plus, at the time, we had Tasha with us, and to be honest with you, that's at the time Tasha was so fucking miserable that it made Motley miserable, which in turn, none of the
Tasha?
shit.
Wait, you're talking about Tasha, the ray of sunshine, the delicate flower that Tasha was? That's who you're talking about?
Dude, and y'all know as well as I do, at this time, she was probably at her most miserable point, and it just wasn't, I didn't have fun with it. Me and Motley were a good team.
Yeah.
We had some pretty good success, but it wasn't the same as me and Ron, man. When you put me and Ron together, here's the way I look at it. I kind of gave Ron a little more intensity, but he kind of loosened me up so I could relax more and have more fun.
Yeah.
And me and Ron were magic. Even before the mullets, as Ron and the Hellraiser, I feel like we were a much better team than me and Motley were.
Well, I think the deal with Motley and you were that I think there was a struggle for power with Motley and Tasha, not necessarily. You were just kind of caught in the middle. Being that guy that just kind of, tried to ease it out the best you could. So,
well, she's miserable, which in turn makes Motley grumpy and miserable, which in turn makes it feeds over into what we're doing. If Motley ain't having fun either, then obviously it's going to make me where I don't have as much fun. Right. And truthfully, me and Ron had worked. Of course, now I'd worked with Motley since I broke in the business. Pretty much one of the earliest matches I had, Motley actually refereed. He was the referee. And we had worked actually, me and Motley probably make better opponents than we did partners, I think. Right. We had awesome matches against each other, but me and Ron, we had worked together over in Osceola and other places for years and years. Our personalities are the same. We rode the roads. We could have fun, laugh, joke. And me and Ron together was super creative. We could toss ideas back and forth. And if he had one and said it, I'd add something to it, and then he'd add some more, or vice versa. I just had a lot more fun with me and Ron. I mean, it just was. And I hate that the mullets did not get to go further than they did, because I really think there was a lot more there we could have done with that,
Yeah. Great video Jett did on y'all, though.
Oh, goddamn, Jett. I'm going to ask you this. I'm glad Terry brought that up. Okay. So we go around town shooting this video at the skating ring and different stuff, the circus, and we go to this street in Memphis that's Fargo Street. Okay, Jett wants us to do the Fargo strut. Now, look, at 10 years old, I would have been strutting and cutting. I could do the shit out of it. But the 25 or 6-year-old me, when it came time to do the Fargo strut, it's the most fucked up shit you've ever seen. Go back and watch it. I could not wrap my hands around it. Ron strutting his ass off, and I'm kind of just moving my hands back and forth. It was fucking hilarious, dude. I had a blast doing that, man.
Yeah, Jett did a great job putting those vignettes together for different guys to help get them over. Like Danny B, man, he did a great one on him. That was probably Jett's favorite. Danny B and Brickhouse, God rest his soul.
That annoyed the shit out of me, because so Brickhouse Brown's wrestling, Danny B's wrestling, and I came up with an idea that is basically it was basically the New Day, right? New Day came like way later, but it was basically the New Day. I put those two together in a tag team. I had Kirk Franklin's song Revolution playing, which was it's just kind of a killer gospel track. And we did some cool videos on them, and they got over. And then 3 weeks later, because Brickhouse is never happy with anything that's going on, wanted to break up the team and then feud with Danny B. And then the whole thing was over. After all that work getting them over.
Yeah.
And then Brickhouse, rest in peace. You got to throw
that was an awesome video.
You legally have to throw that in there before you trash a guy, I think.
Danny has kept that to this day. That song.
Oh, does he still come out to that?
Dude, I was in Trenton last year, and he was there for several months, and that's still his song, and people explode.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that amazing? I saw a comment a minute ago that Penguin made.
Yeah, I've been ignoring all the comments, especially Darby's.
Who do you think has got the most mileage out of KAW? What gimmick do you think got the most mileage? I mean, you got guys still in 2023, about to be 2024, using the same gimmick that we put on them 20 plus years ago.
I mean, are the Littles still doing stuff?
Biddy still does.
Biddy and Hollywood do. I don't think Mikey's doing any wrestling.
We hadn't even mentioned Hollywood. What a great, addition he was. My God, love him. Great kid. Great.
Yeah, Hollywood got to where he'd ride with me and Ron, and shit, man, we had a blast. We'd walk into stores, and you got me, big fucking redheaded. You got Ron, bleached blonde hair with a mullet, and then you got a midget with him. Dude, we'd walk in convenience stores and shit, and it's all eyes would just be staring at us like, what the hell are we seeing here, man?
The circus came to town. Who do you think got the most mileage? I
think the Littles.
You gotta consider what Penguin said. What about Alki? Alki is still riding that train.
Is he doing stuff?
I don't know if he's doing anything, but he still promotes himself as alcoholic.
Does he really?
I can tell you this. Alki is a champion cornhole player now.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what I see. Most of the posts he makes is cornhole stuff, man. Be on televised cornhole tournaments, man. Yeah. Who knew, man? Who knew?
I don't know. It's interesting. Be interesting, though. You're probably right. I'm going to probably say the Littles is probably stretched it as far as it could really go, especially Biddy in Hollywood.
Well, if the whole team would have stayed together, shit, they could still be doing it. I think it would just now be starting to come to an end for them. If all three of them would have stayed together all this time, they would have definitely kept working as the Littles to this day.
Yeah.
It fit them. It was a hell of a gimmick for them, man. And they made it work. They were the perfect guys for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a perfect gimmick because it was like, hey, we got 3 rednecks from Arkansas. What should we do with them? How about they be 3 rednecks from Arkansas?
We had 2 rednecks from Arkansas.
Got it. Do I?
2 rednecks and a midget.
Oh, it's
and little a chick who didn't.
It's little people now.
I don't even. Where did Nita even come from? I think wasn't she part of Weed at the beginning, and then we converted her to a Little?
No, I think she was always with the Littles.
Was she?
I think
she probably walked in the bar with them damn shorts on, and that was right. That was it right there. We putting her on TV.
Right.
Somebody go get her and talk to her.
Yeah. Any gal that looked remotely attractive got on the show.
All right, we talked about Jamie along first, but then after Jamie, Bill came on to KAW. So that was honestly, to me, it was probably a big deal for Bill Dundee to come on and stick with the company, get behind it, and work the shows like he did. How do y'all feel like when Bill Dundee come along? Do you feel like it up business or what? Give me your thoughts on Bill Dundee and KAW.
Go ahead, Jett.
Yeah, well, Bill Dundee's a legend in the area. So I think what it did was kind of like that when Terry Funk went to ECW. It's kind of like you got a bunch of crazy people, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, shit, Bill Dundee's on this show. So it gave a little bit of legitimacy to the whole operation until we talked Bill into letting us shoot a bunch of segments at a strip club, which I'm not sure after it was all said and done, he liked all that too much, but it's one of my favorite bits.
Well, you got to tell
that
us,
strip club. Bill Dundee ran a strip club in Camden, Tennessee. It was the Twin Peaks of strip clubs. Here was the thing. Like, you go into this strip club, and the audience is mostly it's in Camden, so it's mostly like truck drivers and farmers from the area coming in there. Then the women, then the women all almost look good. they were so close. It'd be like this really beautiful woman, and then she'd have like a wooden leg. Or you'd have this really cute gal and she'd turn around and half her face was paralyzed. It was just something wrong with every one of these fucking women in this place.
I don't know if I can keep this in and contain it to tell the story. Yeah. But this, I swear, is the funniest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So we're there shooting a promo one day. We're out where I'm going to come in a strip club and jump on Bill. We're going to have a fight and all this stuff. And Jett and I are at the club early, and we're watching to see who we can use in the whatever. So there's this chick on the stage. She's a tall, blonde-headed lady. And we're like, damn, this chick's pretty hot. I'm surprised that Bill's got a girl like this up here. Dude, I'm telling you, she's dancing on the stage. She walks down and she turns. And when she turns, the whole other side of her face is paralyzed. You remember that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this chick was like normal. She was kind of semi-hot, and then she turns and like it's like, you know, the female version of JR.
Lord,
like,
I was
thinking. So, of course, my comment to Jett was make sure we shoot her from her good side.
Yeah, it was very high quality.
Yeah, it was great.
Strip club.
So this was a half price strip club, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Instead of dollars, you gave these chicks 50 cents at a time, is what you're telling me.
And then there's also when Tracy Smothers was around, one of my favorite guys. I laughed at his shit all the time. Anybody that knew Tracy will attest. But it's after a show. I want to say we were in Tupelo, Mississippi, and we want to go somewhere for a drink after the show. So we go to the strip club there, and we're going in, and the gal at the strip club is like, okay, it's, you know, a lot of times you go to a strip club and they see wrestlers, they just let everybody in for free. Not at this establishment. So she goes, it's going to be like $7 cover per person. I just want a drink. I'm like, fine with that. Tracy Smothers, right behind me, jumps in and starts bartering with this gal. He's like, can we get like 3 people in for 15? Can we get 4.5 in for 25.95? I'm like, Tracy Smothers. It's like, I swear to God, I'm going to kill you if you don't give her some money and get in the door. And he got her down to some kind of deal. I don't know what it was. You know, Spanky, Brian Kendrick, was with us that night, and the boys bought him a lap dance to a Britney Spears song.
Nice.
Damn.
Figures.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Brian Kendrick. So here's something. The parts I'm most interested in is we're working our way to the end of KAW, and it's going to transfer over into Memphis Championship Wrestling. I guess you guys know best. Terry, probably you know better than anybody. How did that come about? How did it go from KAW to all of a sudden now there's this opportunity for a WWF developmental deal? Tell us about that, dude.
Jerry Lawler got pissed off at somebody, is how everything always changes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or somebody gets pissed off at him. Seems to be
a
catalyst.
Nutshell, Jerry had quit Power Pro or whatever it was.
Was that the time because of the Doug Gilbert shoot interview?
I think it was. I think it was because of Doug and all this stuff, and he was mad at Randy for letting that happen. Like Randy could contain Doug. But anyway,
really,
you know, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Jerry gives us a call and says, "Hey, we want to talk. I want to talk." So we got to talk. Talked with Jerry, went to his house. We hung out there and we talked about what we wanted to do and whatnot. And he, you know, kind of, it was like, this was just business. This wasn't personal, because I'm going to tell you, if I had it to do all over, and I'll say this on the record right now today, I would have never done the MCW deal. I would have stayed with KAW, and I would have rode that fucker till it died, and we'd probably still be doing it.
Well, let me ask you this, Terry. Before we go any further, then, Jett's got to get off here at 8. If there's any chance, maybe a month from now or so, I could get you guys back for a part 2, maybe we kind of finish up till 8 on the KAW. I got a question about Lawler, and then we come back, and the next one we'll pick up where we left off and get into the MCW and WWF stuff and all that.
I'd be glad to come back as long as you meet my booking fee.
Booking fee, man. This is pro wrestling, man. Look, my old lady's got some hot dogs and some Cokes rolling right now, dude. Hey, I'll give you.
Is that is Buddy Wayne running your payroll?
That's the Burt Prentice payoff.
There you go. He could very well be, man.
Every fucking shyster promoter in the tri-state area.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Terry, because that was actually one of my next to last questions for this interview. If we were going to have time to go all the way through it, me and you thinking just alike. I was going to ask you, if you had it to do all over again, would you take the deal or would you keep it KAW? And obviously, you just said you would have kept KAW.
Yeah.
Here's my thought on that. Man, we had really just started getting KAW over to the point where we were starting to draw everywhere we went. We were starting to draw pretty decent crowds. We were getting pretty hot, and then it's like, boom, as soon as that happened, here comes the WWE, which kind of changed everything.
Right.
My opinion, I would have loved to have seen where KAW would have went. I believe, truthfully, if it hadn't have been for the WWE deal and it would have stayed KAW, I think it would probably still be in business now. And if it wouldn't, it would probably be because you wanted to shut it down for whatever reason. You were sick of doing it or whatever. I do believe 100% that we would have became the new thing. We would have took over Memphis because we were already starting to do it.
We were killing Power Pro in the ratings. We outdrew them, and we sold the Daisy every time we went there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They were running the Daisy sometimes on opposite times of us, and they really wasn't drawing no crowds, but we'd go in there and put, even at the lowest time, 700-800 people in there sometimes.
Right.
If it wasn't packed full.
MCW never drew at the Daisy.
No.
Never had a good house with MCW. But I did enjoy the MCW years, mostly because I got to be good friends with William Regal. And I enjoyed Bryan Danielson, just watching him wrestle early on. I mean, you knew when he was with us that he was going to be great. And then WWE fires him twice.
Right.
And look at him the last 10 years.
Yeah, me and Terry just kind of had this little conversation in comments here a few weeks ago about Bryan Danielson. He truly is probably, honestly, he's probably the best worker in the business today still.
Yeah.
When it comes time to just get in the ring, tell good stories with good wrestling, he's able to do it, man. And William Regal, dude, I loved Regal. He used to sit down and talk with me and Ron while we were early in the show and just chat and stuff with us and just talk about wrestling, man. And I learned a whole lot from just sitting down and listening to William Regal, listen to what he had to say. He was a humble dude, one of the coolest dudes I've ever met of pro wrestling stars. Sometimes you meet stars, a lot of times, and once you meet them, they turn you off to them immediately. Other times, they draw you in even further. And William Regal was one of those guys, man. He was a real cool dude. He treated all the rest of the boys equal. He treated us just the same as him. And I loved Regal, man.
There's
I agree with you 100%. Two things I want to say is that I want to make it clear that that's me saying what I know now. Obviously, I would stick with the KAW deal, but I don't have any regrets, for lack of better words, on doing the MCW deal because I felt like at the time, in order to get you in front of someone to give you the opportunity to move further, that was the way to go. If you remember, when we did that, the one thing that I did personally was I never went back on television.
Right.
And the reason why was because I didn't want everybody to think that I did that for me to try to further myself. That wasn't the case. I wanted to try to help anybody that could get a break or get some kind of shot at that's what it's about. You want an opportunity, you want a chance. It's just the political and the behind the scenes absolute chaos that I hated about the whole situation. Regal, God, like a brother to me, like a I love him to death. I've talked to him for years after. Some of the guys that were there, man, I love Joey Abs to death. So many of the guys. KK, Ron Keelan.
Yeah.
Just a year or so ago, send a big video for my boy for his birthday. I mean, just, man, it's two different, complete different, seems like two different lifetimes. Because that's kind of the way this business worked. It's like when one deal was over, that's like a part of your life. And then this whole deal was a whole nother part of our life. And in the beginning, it was great because you guys had a lot of time. And then towards the end, there were so many, WWE guys. It was just all just monotonous, for lack of better words.
Yeah, there's
the other thing I want to say is that I can't believe that my wife is on here. My absolutely stunningly beautiful wife, Ray, is on here, and she says that she lost my phone number. Jett, I know you probably got my wife's phone number somewhere. Make sure you give it.
Was she the one that put the thing down in the chat that said Terry Golden is the sexiest man alive?
Yeah, she's got to get those cataracts cut out.
What a fucking work.
Wonder what that's going to cost me later.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, I
thought for a minute maybe that was Buster's gal.
Yeah,
putting that in there.
Look, guys, it's almost 8. I know Jett's got to get out of here, so I got one.
Where's somebody
question.
calling me the sexiest man alive? Where's that in the chat?
It'd be a kind Jett.
The fuck kind of podcast are you running here?
Hey, man, I tell you what, you throw me a few Finskys and I'll make sure that happens next time you're on, man.
Where you got to go, Jett? What do you got a date?
I got stuff I got to do, man. I can't stick around all night. This Buster's got to promote some show in bumfuck Arkansas or some place or something.
Bumfuck Tennessee, man.
It's like I gotta go.
Hey, who do y'all think passed up the best gimmick in KAW?
Do what?
Who do you think passed up the best gimmick?
Honestly,
I don't know.
I think Poker Face did.
What was the gimmick going to be?
All right, you remember originally Poker Face was the guy who you wanted to be Player Tyrone. And we all know who became Player Tyrone, and we might as well say his name because I want your opinion of it. It'd be a perfect place to end this interview until next time, and next time we'll get a bunch of MCW information and what's going on. Johnny Dotson, the King Superstar, turned out to be Player Tyrone. And hey, obviously you see he's all over the internet now.
Wait, Johnny who?
Player Tyrone. You know him best as Player Tyrone, probably.
Who'd he ever beat?
I don't know, but hey, ask him. He's beat everybody now. But for real, I mean, he literally went to Impact last weekend, belt and all, Gucci suit out, jewelry all over the place, Rolexes, and ended up getting kicked out because he made a scene, man. But I tell you what he did do. He got everybody talking about Johnny Dotson. He got all the eyes on Johnny Dotson. So what y'all's thought? Terry, what do you think about Johnny Dotson?
Man, here's what I think about Johnny. I think Johnny almost started with us. I don't know if he had any matches at all or just a few, but Johnny pretty much broke his teeth. Might have been the first place he ever got on television was with us. Yeah. Here's what I think. I think Johnny, over 20 plus years, has figured it out. Okay? It's a work. If they're not talking about you, you don't matter. Everything we've talked about today, Littles, Rocker's interview, Mullet, I mean, you guys, Weed, it's because it caught on. He's finally figured out that if they're talking about you, you're relevant. It doesn't matter if it's Johnny perceiving himself as what he's doing now is not who Johnny is. We all know that. You know that. We know who Johnny is, but it's working for him. So it doesn't matter if they like him, hate him, disrespect him, yell at him, cuss him, think he's an idiot, whatever you want to say, you're talking about him. And that's the name of the game. If nobody's talking about you, nobody's watching. If they are talking about you, you know what they're doing? They're watching. So I love it. I love Johnny. I think he's a great guy. I think it's entertaining. He entertains me. Look, sometimes I'll scroll through Facebook and there'll be a Johnny Dotson deal in there, and I'm like, oh my God, here comes this bullshit again. But then I want to watch it just because here comes this bullshit again.
Bullshit again, exactly.
And you know, I love him. So that's my thought. It is what it is.
I'm the same way about him, man. Here's the thing. You know as well as I do, when you can get under the boy's skin, you pretty much got it. You can get under any fucking body's skin if you can get under the boy's skin. And he talks a lot of shit, but if you really listen to him, there's a lot of truth in some of the things he says also.
Oh, absolutely. Look, this is gonna tell my age, okay? But this is the God's honest truth. I used to say this, but I mean, and not really know what it meant, but I'll say this now. Some of the boys in today's world wouldn't be the boys in our days world. You know what I'm saying? So what does it matter? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's
changed so much, man. I mean, really, I'm shocked at some of the things I see go on, and not just with the promoters and the bookers, but with the talent too. They do not have the same mentality about it that we did. I don't know what it is. A lot of times I feel like a lot of these guys go out there and they're imitating what they've seen. They're almost pretending to be wrestlers instead of going out there and just really being wrestlers and evolving a part of their personality. Take the best part of their personality and grow it and accentuate it. I feel like a lot of times they go out there and they just imitate this guy because they like the way he does shit or whatever. And I don't feel like the fans buy into it is the way they used to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I like Bryan Danielson, because be honest, when he's on and he's left alone to do his thing, he still tells awesome stories in the ring. And that's one thing that we don't have now either. A lot of these guys do not know how to tell stories in the ring. I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel about it. There are some killer talent out there. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like you. If there were a lot less companies that would cut out a lot of this talent that shouldn't even be talent, shouldn't even be in the ring, because there'd be fewer spots. As it is now, there's companies every 5 miles up the road. So there's so many guys who call themselves wrestlers, but probably would have never made it in the ring back in the day, or if they had they wouldn't have made it in there and stayed more than likely for sure.
I think that some of them would have been one-match wonders. We had a few of those back then too, though, right, Jett? We had a few one-match.
I don't know. I kind of zoned out during Grandpa's rant over here. Like the old man yelling at the clouds.
I mean, we had some one-match guys that would come in and just realize that, man, this isn't for me. We're just, I'm going to go back and do my deal. So, but it is what it is.
Buster,
before we get
what's up with that mustache?
Man, it does. Beard? Dude, I can't grow a beard. I get it going, and it bugs me so bad I have to cut that son of a bitch. But the mustache.
Are you heading out to the gay biker rally after this podcast is over?
No, man.
Jett, that looks like one of those molestaches.
Oh no! Look, I do this for the ladies, man. The ladies kind of love this, man. It's kind of like a little French tickler. You know what I mean?
Stay out in daycares.
Have you been?
There you go.
You've been hanging out at the high schools again? Is that what?
I've been.
You should have been a wrestler back with the old Channel 5 guys, man. You'd have fit right in with that shit, man. That locker room had more teenage girls in it than a Taylor Swift concert.
I was actually for a short stint a wrestler in that locker room, but they never fully let me in the boys club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would work with me and stuff, but they never really let me in fully to the boys club, like a lot of us. I mean, that's to me, that's kind of where KAW actually come from. I mean, you took a lot of talent that was killer talent, but for some reason or another, the boys club of wrestling that ruled around here at that time wouldn't really let a lot of us in. They would work with us when they had to or when they needed to, but they wouldn't let us into that little club they got. And I think that's a big part of what made KAW such a success, you know?
Yeah, and then most of those guys wanted to come with us.
Right.
You think back, I mean, a lot of the guys that were mainstays over there ended up working for us.
Well, you had Dundee and Lawler.
Yeah.
Came over at one point, right? But before that, you had Tracy Smothers. You had
we had
Dunn.
Dutch. I mean, Dutch Mantell came work for us too. I mean, you know, you got all these guys: Doug, Jamie, Wolfie, Reno.
Yeah. Tommy Rogers.
Yeah. I mean, Sid. When Sid came to work for KAW, I mean, you couldn't have got a bigger star than Sid on the show.
Yeah, that's the truth. I was going to ask you about Sid. How was it? How was it dealing with Sid and working with him at that time?
Annoying.
Sid's got a unique personality, and I can't even figure out what it is. Like, I mean, I don't know how to describe his personality. It's just kind of weird. I saw him one time outside of wrestling, like a couple of years after he was in KAW, and he saw me, and this is how he greeted me. He goes, "Hey, what's up, squirrel?" Like, what the fuck is squirrel? Am I what?
Sid's just, I mean, he's just kind of in his own, you know. He wants to do his deal. He wants to do it his way because that's the right way for Sid, and that's just kind of what he wants to do. I mean, he's going to think it out. Not that it's wrong or not good. I mean, because Sid did great. I mean, I like Sid. He's a good guy. But, I mean, he just gets in that path, and that's where he's going. He's not going to ebb and flow with what works or what doesn't work. He's going to just – Sid's going to be Sid.
Sid's going to Sid. Yeah, Sid's going to Sid, man.
That's it.
Well, look, guys, we're going to start drawing this thing down. I got one last question for both of you guys. Okay, we're going into the transformation from KAW to MCW. Lawler's come on board now. Lawler's the catalyst for the developmental deal. Would that be?
I mean, he opened the door. For you. You know, Lawler. Okay. At the time, Lawler and JR, and probably still are, were very best of friends, doing all the announcing for New York at the time. JR was handling all the developmentals and all the talent relations. JR came to Memphis. We met. Weird story. Jerry and myself and JR went by Krispy Kreme's, and they wanted to eat donuts off the hot wax deal. We went inside and they ate the donuts off the deal. We went down to Sam's Town, talked to the people at Sam's Town. We already had that deal in place. It was going to be KAW, ended up being MCW.
Yeah.
You know, we went by Motley's place where we had the little school gimmick deal going on. And, you know, we just got a general agreement that if all this stuff came together the way, you know, New York didn't really want to associate with kick-ass wrestling. It was a little too edgy for them. So that's how the MCW evolution came into play, where that we had to come up with something that fit the market for them a little bit better. And that's when the decision was made to change the name. And I remember Jett telling me, I don't want to do this.
I said, really didn't.
He thought it was a bad idea. I don't know if he remembers this or not. He didn't really want to do it. He did it anyway, reluctantly.
Me?
And, you know, it is.
I don't think I had any resistance to it. I don't remember having.
Yeah, you weren't really happy about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I remember, especially the last show that we aired, KAW.
Oh, well, when it was ending, I was annoyed as fuck with all the crap.
You know, I mean, MCW was you know, it was good for what it was. Yeah. You know, we ended up doing some big things with that deal, and very proud of them still to the day. It's just,
I have a light that's like strobing now. It's like I'm in a disco.
It's good. Let's good on
see that. Look at that.
So that's where it's at, you know?
That's fucking special effects, people.
All right, look, Terry, I got one last question.
See the high quality I bring to this podcast.
I got one last question for you, but
What
I
is it
don't
that
even
like?
want you to answer it until the next time we come on.
Hold on a minute. Let me get this light. Hold on.
All right.
Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, Terry. Last question. I don't even want you to answer it. I figured it'd be a perfect place to pick up when we come back. That way we can focus on MCW, the WWE developmental deal, and the talent that came in. Jerry Lawler. All right. He's in now. It's switching to MCW. Now, from the boys' perspective, my perspective, I'm pretty sure Ron's perspective, a lot of the other boys' perspective, we felt like there was a pretty good bit of tension between you and Jerry Lawler. And no, Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Terry.
Yeah.
I mean, we felt like there was some tension there. Hey, don't answer it, though. We're going to be continue this for the next show. I figure that'd be a perfect place to pick up. You can tell us whether there was, whether there wasn't, and if there was, what was it about? What created the tension? That sound good to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to say something right now for the record.
Okay.
This is my true feelings of Jerry.
Oh, God. Here we go.
You know, you make more money with people that you don't like than people that like you, okay? That's business. I've always been a business person in anything I've done. But I will say this. If he dies before we do this deal, I'm still going to unload on his ass. Because I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel.
Wow. Okay. All right, Doug Gilbert.
God dang. Y'all heard it there. Look, guys, I want to try to come back a month from now if y'all are up for it, and let's get this part 2 out of the way and tell the story of Memphis Championship Wrestling, and we'll find out Terry Golden's true feelings on Jerry Lawler. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Man, if Jett's in. Hey, good luck to the guys doing the KAW, Todd and those guys. Real quick, we owe those guys a lot of gratitude. Who was Johnny and Todd and Rocker? If you remember, that is what really set our tone for the whole KAW deal. When we did the toilet bowl in the ring, and Rocker and Johnny did the King and the Superstar and came out, and then the whole locker room emptied and just beat this living crap out of both of them. That really set the tone, I feel like, for the whole attitude of KAW for the whole deal. And dude, and from the day Bill come in, he to this day still Bill's still got the red ass for me for getting his jumpsuit from Miss Joanne, who makes you the outfits. And that was a legitimately Bill's jumpsuit that one of them had on. I think it was Rocker. But I mean, we got a lot of heat for that. We got
a lot of heat for everything.
Guys, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. You don't know how much it means to me. It's a big deal for me. It's absolutely, without a doubt, the biggest interview I've ever had and ever done. And without you guys, it just couldn't happen, man. I feel like there's so much more that we can talk about next time around. We'll really get into the nuts and bolts of MCW and some of the talent that was sent down here by WWF, some of the local talent too that were still there working at the time. And we'll just go from there, man.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot there. We didn't really trash much of anybody so I'm sure there's a bunch more we could do.
No,
before I get out of here,
we'll set the tone for that.
Before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to one of your 5 viewers out there tonight. Great gal Laura Hooker that's her name, not her profession. Yeah, she's not a professional hooker. She's just a amateur hooker.
Damn.
Great gal and a fine piece of ass. So
there you go. Shout out.
She's sitting on a couch somewhere eating popcorn watching this podcast.
Lord Jesus, man. I don't know what to expect next time around. Hey, I'll tell you what, Terry, you mentioned it on one of our texts we had. Maybe we get Jett drunk next time and see what happens, man.
I have not been drinking during this podcast, but if you guys want, I'll drink the whole next podcast.
Look, I'm telling you, I was hoping that we could do this deal like at a round table with a bottle of Jack Daniels and Jett. And I'm telling you, he would never get off here. He would still be on here when we're gone home. He'd still be on here telling stories. But of course, they'd leave some downtime because he'd have to go outside and smoke a cigarette, and then he would be right back in there with his little bottle of Jack, and he'd be good to go.
There's a lot of stories that have never been told in a public forum. One of them that I was told by Umaga, Kimba, I forget what he's 15 gimmicks. Umaga was the most famous. About a bunch of Samoans going to a sex club in New York. That's never been told in public. I don't think I've ever told the story about back when I was doing the wrestling report and a little confrontation with Jerry Lawler backstage at the Coliseum that I had. What else is there that we haven't?
You want to tell the real version of that story about the Lawler and those miners in Louisville at the trailer park?
God damn.
No, I'm not.
Canceled.
I'm not getting into that.
Lord,
all I can say is most of what you hear, totally separate, having nothing to do with that at all. Most of what you hear in wrestling is absolutely true.
Jerry Lawler's on the phone right now with YouTube and Facebook and everybody. It won't be long. This shit'll just go black. He'll shut us all the way down, man.
I said it had nothing to do with that. I didn't say anything. I'm talking about other stuff.
I'm talking about gold.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I mean, once you're Steph, you're Steph.
There you go, man. Yeah. Guys, awesome show. Like I said, I can't thank you guys enough. Great show. I appreciate y'all for doing it. And I will get in touch with both of y'all and we'll try to figure out a date, man. I think maybe if we can hit a month from now, if that works for y'all, I think it would be perfect. And come back and we'll get all the dirt on MCW, WWE developmental, and all the different talent that you guys got to work with that were sent down here. You can tell us all the dirt on everybody, man, all them good stories.
Let's do it. Good to see you, Buster, man. Best of wishes and good luck to your show, man. If you need anything, give us a shout. A lot of guys from KEW has reached out and would have loved to have been a part of this deal, man. So maybe next time we can get some of those guys like Darby and Penguin and God knows who else. I mean, I know we'd love to get a hold of Bull Payne, Todd Morton, some of those guys too, man.
Yes.
We'll try to get some of those guys to help
you out. We didn't even get into the KW show with the women's penitentiary.
Right.
I know, man. I know, man. See, that's the thing, man. If we talked about everything I really wanted to talk about, we'd be on here till midnight.
We'll be back. You gotta leave the people wanting more.
Hey, my two favorite shows in KEW. My two favorite shows, real quick: the Women's Penitentiary and Hooters. What a blast we had at Hooters.
I don't even remember that show. I don't even remember the part of it.
Packed. We did. Yes, we did. I know because Motley put me through a car windshield. Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Phenomenal time. Yeah.
Hooters and the Women's Penitentiary, man. That Women's Penitentiary show was wild. I mean, it was just, talk about a captive audience. We had them,
Right.
Good stuff, man.
I don't even know how we were able to do that and air it. I don't even know how they let us do that.
I don't know how we got in the building. How many phones did we take in?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm y'all know I'm an avid smoker. I for the pot, and man, I had my dugout in the front of my bag, and forgot about that motherfucker. And when we went in, we walked that long hallway, and there was that little checkpoint there, and the guards, they kind of just opened our shit a little bit, looked in it, reached his hand down in the front of my bag, and there's no way he didn't feel that hard ass big wood dugout. He didn't say a word, man. Walked right on through. I thought
they were good to us. They were good to us.
I thought I was going to jail, man.
You know who put that together?
All about it.
You know who put that show together for us?
Who was it?
Of all, Dr. Bud Ganja.
Really?
Yeah. He set that deal up. I don't remember exactly how, but I know Bud brought the deal to the table and said he could get it done. And I'm like, how does a dude named Dr. Bud Ganja get us a show in the penitentiary?
How many women in there did he date?
I don't know.
Who was he? It was this old lady locked up.
We got plenty to talk about. I'll do it anytime you guys want. I'm in.
Guys, like I said, thank you so much. I will get with both of you guys and we'll hash out the date and we'll get it done, man. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And y'all have a good night, man.
You too, Buster.
Yes. Love you, Jett.
Take it
Terry,
easy, guys.
good to see you.
All right, Jett, you take it easy, my man.
All right, you too, man.
All right, guys, you seen it right there. It was part 1. So much to talk about. We're definitely going to have a part 2. Probably a month from now. I'm going to start knocking out some dates and seeing what date works for everybody. And we're going to come back with Terry Golden and David Jett once again. And we're going to find out the details of Memphis Championship Wrestling, the developmental deal, the talent that was sent in, what Terry Golden's real feelings about Jerry Lawler are, and much, much more. Guys, I got some things I need to promote before I get out of here. So let me start pulling up these things and we'll let y'all out of here. I appreciate everybody who watched, man. This is my biggest interview ever, and we got a part 2 coming. All right, guys, coming up on October 11th, Wednesday. Hold on, guys. Coming up Wednesday, October 11th, we got Buster Unmasked, episode 32. We got Thomas D. Bruff. He is the owner of Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling, custom women's wrestling. And we're going to find out everything there is to know about Thomas and everything everybody ever wanted to know about custom wrestling, what it's about, how it is, how it's done. There's no telling what we'll find out from this guy. October 11th, 7 p.m., Wednesday. Do not miss it. All right, guys, I'm going to pull up the next thing. We got a bunch of shows. Hey, tomorrow night, we got a show. The next 2 weeks in a row, tomorrow night and then Wednesday and Thursday of next week, we have shows both nights. All right, guys, y'all know this. We have got the second KAW, PKAW reunion tour update. It's Thursday, October 5th at 7 p.m. You do not want to miss that. We're going to have Chris Rocker pop in. Johnny Morton's going to be here, the Jett Hero. And there's no telling who else might pop in and what other updates and breaking news we may have. I've already got a promo from Chip Diver. You heard Terry, you heard David Jett talk about Chip Diver. Well, I got a promo in from him. He sent me all the way from Sweden about this KAW reunion tour. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be awesome. And then we are going to move right along to October 4th. On October 4th, we got my guys, Steel Cross, Wednesday, October 4th at 7 p.m. This is the evolution of a tag team from then to now. Look, about 8 months ago, I ranked these guys number 3 in some tag team rankings out of the whole Mid-South. At that time, they were TIWF tag team champions, and they were pretty much, they stayed at TIWF. Since that time, these guys have went all over the Mid-South area, making a huge name for themselves, winning titles. They are currently the EPW tag team champions, and we're going to find out from them themselves how the last 8 months has been for them since they've been all over the place and made the name for themselves they have. I can't wait for that one. I love these dudes. 2 awesome dudes, man. All right, guys, tomorrow night, we got Blaze Ray. We got Pro Wrestling Mid-South. We got Quake at the Lake. Now, this show is Saturday, September 30th in Tiptonville. It's Quake at the Lake tomorrow night. Don't forget, we're going to be here live once again, 7 p.m. We're going to find out about Blaze Ray's injury and find out when he may be back. We're going to get an update on that. We're going to talk Pro Wrestling Mid-South, and we're going to talk about Quake at the Lake, and we're going to look at these matchups they got coming on Saturday, October 30th at Quake at the Lake. It should be an awesome show. don't forget, tomorrow night, Thursday, September 28th, 7 p.m., it is a Buster Unmasked special pop-up event. It don't say that, but it is. Be sure you guys tune in, check it out. Should be an awesome time. And guys, thank you so much. Once again, I want to thank Terry Golden and Jett for coming on and giving me their time. They didn't have to do this. Like Terry said, he's been asked hundreds of times since he got out of the business to do this, and he never has. I feel like it was fate. I feel like it was meant to be me. And get ready, because there is going to be a part 2, and we're going to find out all the dirty secrets of MCW and the WWF developmental deal. We're going to talk about the talent and everything else. PK Ripper TV, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I feel like it was an awesome show, too. It's one of my best. I feel like I enjoyed it. Awesome night. We got Stonewall McGraw here. He said, awesome, loved it. Thank you, Stonewall. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate you interacting with us, man. We appreciate everybody's support. My guy, Eric J., awesome show, Eric. I appreciate you, my man. This is my guy right here. Me and this dude have become pretty good friends. We talk regularly on message. We do a lot of talk about wrestling, man. I made a comment a few days ago. I made a post on Facebook about who the top heel was around, and that was from this guy. This guy sent me a message, and he asked me, said, hey, Buster, he said, in your opinion, who are the top 3 bad guys in our area? And, you know, I thought about it, and even though Johnny Dotson, the King Superstar, is a good guy on TV, honestly, there's no doubt about it, he is the best bad guy in the business around here right now. Without a doubt. Number 2, it could be wrestlers or managers. I feel like Justin Klein. Justin Klein is just like Johnny Dotson. He never breaks character, and he's just a heat magnet. He gets more heat than you know what to do with. And then I had a little hard time on number 3, but then out of nowhere, it really hit me. Bullwhip Ballard, I believe, if he ain't already, he could very well be the top 3rd heel around our territory. This guy is rough. He's rugged. He believes what he does. He believes what he says. And his wrestling style is brutal. Without a doubt, he's brutal. So, and all this comes from Eric J. He asked me and he posed the question. And look, you can't deny Johnny Dotson. He's got everybody in the wrestling business around here talking right now. Whether you're talking good about him or bad about him, you heard the man himself, Terry Golden, say, at least when they're talking about you, you know they're paying attention. When they're not paying attention, nobody's got nothing to say. So, Johnny, you keep kicking ass and doing what you're doing, and fuck everybody else and what they say. Speak the truth, speak your mind, and talk your shit, my man. Guys, I appreciate you so much. Been an awesome show. I thank everybody who interacted, everybody who's watched. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Blaze Ray, Pro Wrestling Mid-South, and Quake at the Lake, 7 p.m. Do not miss it. Thank you, guys, and I'm out.